Hello, hello. I'm here with Emma O'Reilly of Emma Or Music on twitch.tv/Emma Or Music. We just finished streaming. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was great.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so much better for the stream and then for a little ice cream stroll afterwards.
We went and got ice cream. I had a strawberry cornetto. Tell the people what you had.
I had like an ice cream Mars bar.
It looked good. I'll have to check it out next time. I love ice cream, so
yeah,
I'll get ice cream again.
Nice.
Okay, so how did you get started on Twitch?
Well, actually, it was Hameta who brought me into Twitch. So I was having just a hard time with it's. You know, it's hard to be a musician putting your own music out there. There's many amazing aspects to it. There's few things that are as important as you feeling like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But it can be really, really hard because there's so many challenges, especially if there's a certain way you want to do things and you're a bit stubborn about that, or you're a little bit perfectionist. And I was just really struggling because I was like, I'm not making enough to sustain my art. And I need something else. I need something fresh. I need something new for me as an artist, a new challenge.
Yeah.
And I was really reluctant to engage in Twitch actually because I had a stalker previously who was on Twitch and talked a lot about being on Twitch.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was.
You had to go through that. That's really scary.
It was not a happy time. So Hameta was going for ages at me to get on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I was just really reluctant. And I was having a particular kind of like just weeping at my boyfriend. And he was like, I think you need to call her and talk to her. He said, just tell her what you've experienced. See what she says.
Yeah.
She seems to be doing really well on this and she's really enjoying it and maybe you'll enjoy it as well. And I was like, my kind of inner 5-year-old was like, no. And then my adult brain was like, this man is really sensible and switched on and wants what's best for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do what he's suggesting. And I did. And I just didn't look back. Hameta is, my nickname for her is Mama Twitch. And it's a little deeper than just a joke because she wants you to have everything for your music.
Yeah.
She showed me how to use the overlays and OBS, walked me through how to get everything ready on Discord, like held my hand through the entire, that curve when you get started streaming. It's really steep.
There's so many things you just don't know and there's so many new things you have to learn.
Completely in directions that you didn't even know existed.
Someone will come in and be like, do you have this? And it's like, no, I don't even know what that could be.
Was that English? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but she held my hand through the whole thing.
She's very nurturing.
She is the reason that I'm on Twitch.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and it was a really great decision. I'm so glad I did it.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, what's some music you're listening to recently? Like your favorites, or like what's like your top 5, or even like what are your big musical inspirations for like music and everything?
So right now, it's all Beyonce.
Emma went to the concert. Emma thrived at the concert. Emma vibed at the concert.
I thrived and did all the things that rhyme with thrive. Unless it's a problematic thing, then maybe I didn't do that. But then maybe whiteness,
Yeah, you know how to say.
Whiteness is as whiteness does sometimes. But yeah, like I do a lot of things a lot of the time, and I put a lot of like effort and time into trying to see family and then trying to do music projects and get them across the line and stuff. So I don't often have a lot of money to go to gigs.
Yeah.
But my sister got me the ticket to go and see her.
Amazing sister. Shout out to sister.
Yeah, what a sublime present.
Sister or music.
Yes, sister or music, exactly. Oh my God, was
it a dream?
It was, and I think one of the things I really love about her as an artist is that she can move me with her music, but also with her message and with her integrity. Yeah. And I think that like no one's problematic free.
Totally. Yeah.
There's 10 things I can think of that are, but I can do that for myself. I can do that for anybody.
Yeah.
She doesn't escape that just because she's a really interesting artist. But I just love how she could just be churning out albums.
She totally could. And people would buy anything she put out.
People would buy anything she put out. Instead of just doing that, she has chosen to make music that celebrates and interrogates legacies of Black women, of Black men in the US, encouraging them to like look at decolonizing, taking part in that process herself. And then Renaissance is just this love letter to house music, to a tradition that we would not have without LGBTQIA plus artists.
Totally.
Black LGBTQIA plus artists in New York, in Chicago in particular. There's so much music nowadays that would not exist without the foundation of that. And Renaissance as an album celebrates that. And I love that.
Yeah.
So I think I feel like her work satisfies on a musical level, on a fun pop level, but also on like a level of intellect and learning and trying to grow. So I'm fascinated endlessly. Influences.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many. Musical theatre is a big influence on my sound. I remember I was working with a PR company in New York, and the feedback they got for a station that didn't want to play my EP was that it was too Broadway for them. And I was like, I'm good with that. It's feedback.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. That's cool. So yeah, lots of musical theatre. I have really mixed taste. So I would have performed in lots of different styles of music. I come obviously from Ireland, where you're tripping over incredible traditional artists and people singing all the time, and everyone has a party song. There's a bit of that in there. There's folk. I was reared listening to kind of Irish folk artists. My dad always had them on in the car. And then as well, like Queen and Elton John, my mum loves those too. Yeah. And then my own influences, it's everything from like Britney Spears to Regina Spektor, Queens of the Stone Age, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I feel like, to me, it's all in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So really, really broad spectrum of influences.
Did you ever do like theatre? Or you just have a theatre-esque sound to your music? Just
I did a bit, yeah. So it was originally what I wanted to do.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, when I went to university to study, at the time the university I went to didn't offer a degree where you could combine music and drama. And the music degree I did there didn't have any practical elements to it anyway. Gotcha. It had a musicianship class, which was super valuable. Yeah. It was the best thing. Yeah. But no like tuition for an instrument.
Gotcha.
So I probably wouldn't have been super successful with that anyway, but I couldn't combine those, so I did music and English, and I said to myself, well, I'll do a master's in musical theatre afterwards. But I think at the time no one had talked to me about like what the cost of that was and what you need to do to fund those things. Yep. Like if I had understood that I could have applied to the Arts Council for funding to go study music theatre, I would have done that first. Yeah. That's what I would have done, and that's probably where hopefully where I would be working. Weirdly, I got put off by it while I was at university.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really sad. It was really, I still feel sad about it because it was something I loved so much. But I was going out with a guy at the time, really lovely guy, he was like the tech manager in the theatre. And when I was hanging out with him, everyone knew who I was. Yeah. And then I went to audition for this 24-hour musical that they did. It was one of the reasons I went to this university. I was so dying to do this. And people who knew me when I was with that person were talking over my head.
That's no fun.
And it was really cliquey. And I remember sitting there in the student theatre with the application form in my hands, and I started filling it out. And I just said no. Yeah.
Like gut feeling, like, nah.
Doing this like this.
Yeah. Doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's not how I want to make art. And that kind of... It's weird because I know that's not reflective of everything, but I don't want to make art in an environment where people are sort of jostling for status. Definitely want to make art in an environment where I'm not the best in the room so that I can be learning and growing. Yeah. But I want that to be a chilled out environment. Yeah.
But like that's kind of like a big step in your like musical journey, because you're having choices and you're having like, actually no, I don't want to do it like this, even though this is like a clear path for this of what you want to do, but you're like, no. So like even making that choice is a big deal musically, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was a big moment. It was a sad moment, but maybe someday we'll come back to it a bit more.
You can always do musical theater. Yeah. Okay, so where do you like to hang out on Twitch? Like even if it's just like lurking or whatever. So I'm gonna link whatever Emma says, we're gonna link it in the description. You can follow these people.
Oh my God, that's such a difficult question because there's different moods you can have on Twitch, right?
Tell us everything. Different days. So absolutely. Some of you want chill.
I love Unitex, who's an Irish streamer, and she's like a variety streamer. I remember the first time I saw her stream. So she's from Kerry, and she streams in Irish as well as in English.
Do you speak Irish? You do, right?
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So
Emma writes songs in Irish, if you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll sometimes drop into her stream and just, because she has a way of making things hilarious. I remember dropping into her stream once where she was just looking at like property listings. It was so funny. She's amazing. I really, really like her. Then my other half does a lot of he watches a lot of streams like gamers and stuff, playing various different games and stuff, and I really enjoy that as well.
Yeah, totally.
Really, really chilled out. There's one particular streamer who plays what is that game where you're on the boat and someone's a thrall and everyone else is like straight, so they're trying to get the boat out of this place.
I have no idea.
Oh, it's really really good. It's he's gonna kick me for not knowing. He won't actually kick me, but yeah, I can't remember the name of it. But the person who plays it is really good at it, so it's so fun to watch them play.
You can send it to me later if you think of it, and I'll put it in the description.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find it. Love that. Amiga Bill is one that we watched together as well. He's really lovely and chill to watch. I absolutely adore Matty, Call Sign Scarecrow.
Absolutely, that is one of my very favorite places to hang out on Twitch.
I cannot wait to meet him in person and ask him about his background, and because this
just talking to him,
that skill level
has given me so much like tiny information about him. I'm like even more intrigued.
I want to know. I'm fascinated, and I think just such a lovely. I can get kind of caught up in things and bogged down in details, and Matty just seems to have this effortless grace and good humor, and I so aspire to that. So I love Matty. Guitar Shredder, of course. One of the first people I rated who played a song for me. I remember feeling so special.
That's so sweet.
It was lovely, and I love Shredder. Really, really like Shredder. Hammy, of course.
Yeah.
Like her voice.
My sister and I were listening to her when we were at the bus and we would like trade off, and then she would just sing and she would just do this like beautiful like run at the end, and I was like, she just did that, amazing. Yes. We're just walking by, people just hanging out, and she's just like blowing away this performance. Like, oh
yeah, she's also found the perfect configuration for that belting sound.
Yeah,
it's so perfect. It's not overburdened. It's not underpowered. It's right in the middle. It's rich. It's got this vibrato. It's intimidating in a way.
Yeah.
It's just so fabulous. So listening to her sing anything.
Truly.
There's songs I've written where I'm like, she should be singing this. Seriously.
That's a cool feeling.
Lots of songs I've written where I'm like, it's in my mind, it's for her voice.
Yeah.
So I find her super inspiring. Trickster Art is a good friend of mine. He does his own webcomic, and he just, if you like gentle, kind of gently sarcastic, friendly English accent humor, that's kind of wholesome somehow.
Yeah.
You gotta go there. It's lovely. It's really, 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 really nice. I'm trying to think who else I drop into. I do actually like, I don't have a lot of time in evenings to hang out on Twitch.
But very busy. I'm busy as be ever.
It's not good. But I'm working on it. But when I do have a bit of time, I quite like going to the section of my Twitch where it's like, they're not people I follow.
And
just dropping in and seeing who's around and
feeling the vibe, checking it out. Totally.
And I mean, on top of that, I think there's also so many streamers that I love. I'm leaving out probably at least 10 people that I adore.
Yeah.
Because the talent pool on there it's wild.
It's wild, and there's always new people. I love when you're like, someone's like, hey, this person's just starting, let's raid them. And you go there and you're just blown away by their sound, because it's like, I haven't heard anything like this anywhere, not even just on Twitch. Like, I need to be here.
Yeah, totally. It's phenomenal. And I think the Twitch is so amazing for that. I think Twitch has kind of been in a golden era for that, where the community is small enough that actually a lot of us as streamers, it's mad, but we do know each other.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was comfortable enough to reach out to you guys and be like, hey, do you want to like hang out IRL?
Yeah, it's super important for safety and that type of thing as well. But like, it's so potent, and I'm really glad to be on Twitch at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think because it's run by who it's run by, it's probably going to get oversaturated.
Something's got to change coming years, because it's so nice.
and I think we got in at a really good time where it was still possible to build community. And that's so. I it's really, really hard to pick just a few.
I know, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting me and Ham crash the stream. It was so much fun to sing with you guys.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
It was so lovely, and the ice cream, delicious. We went on a little ice cream run.
Was the most delicious. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
What was your favorite part of the stream today?
Favorite part of the stream? I think just singing with you guys. Like, we practiced the songs yesterday, but like today when we even when we were doing that sound check, I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds really nice. Because I can't harmonize. Like I'm not trained in singing at all. I just like to sing and make noise. So it's like having you guys who know what you're doing. It's very like, I want to be able to do that. I want to like do what these guys do.
It's so cool when you get to be in a room where you're like, oh yeah, you feel amped up to carry on in your path.
Yep.
Such an amazing energy.
It is. I went on tour last year, and then I'm on tour again this year, and I forgot the rush of it because it's like everything's so quick. You guys have been on like tour, so it's like you know how it is. Everything's so fast. Like I'm leaving tomorrow morning, and so there's just like this incredible like happy rush of just making music with someone who I know your sound. Like I watch you guys all the time, so it's like I know what you sound like. I know what you're like. You're also talented. So I'm like so excited to like make music with you, and like it. Like I was telling you yesterday, it's like a starstruck moment where you're like, I'm singing with these people, and like I know your voice, but you're right next to me, sort of way.
Isn't it wild?
It is because it's like I sing like Maddie's streaming. I'm like singing along too, and like you guys, I'm just singing along. So I'm like having a fun time, and like we get to like interact and sing together directly without it being like delayed or like you can't hear me when you're streaming. I'm just singing, you know.
Yeah, we can hear that moment where the person's harmonizing.
Yeah,
like
it feels so lovely because like I don't get to do that. Like that's not something and I've never streamed with two people before. So this was my first like trio stream, and like that was just so
nice. There is nothing like a trio texture.
It was so fun, and
it's
like
good.
Just like I know where I'm trying to go, and then to hear you guys just sort of like weaving around is just very magical.
Yeah, but you know, it's a real skill to be able to hold a line.
I sometimes can feel myself drifting to like follow one of you guys when we're practicing.
It was really, really good. But it's I think as well it's so cool to be in the room with other singers as well, because you hear what they do to match and to blend and to do all that stuff. It's so cool.
It's so cool, and like you guys, it doesn't feel like you have to think about it. You're just like, oh, this note is happening, so I need to go here. I can go here. Like you have the skills to like be creative within the realm of singing. You know what I mean? It's not like when I'm singing, I sing, and then if it sounds wrong, I back off and then I try something else. But you're like, I know this is gonna sound good, so like that's a very cool skill to have. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very, very wonderful to meet you. If you guys are not following Emma for music on Twitch, you're a fool. Follow Emma. Emma O'Reilly. She's on all the platforms, I'm guessing.
Yeah.